Last thing I'll ask you about, I thought this was cool. Dabo obviously broke. I'm going to put an asterisk next to this. Now, it would have happened anyway, but if they hadn't stolen Coach Bowden's wins over some guys sleeping in and not going to an online test, probably wouldn't be the case. But Coach Bowden actually has more ACC wins than they want to give him credit for because some got stripped away. People like Joe Paterno and those got their wins back, and Harbaugh won a championship after cheating. But I digress. Dabo did break the ACC record for most wins. If he wouldn't have broken it this year, he would have just broken it next year anyway. If Coach Bowden did have his win, so I'm a little bitter about it, but I'm not too bitter because it would have happened next year regardless. But I did think it was cool. As many Florida State fans like to clown Dabo, mostly because he has success, but Dabo does say stupid things at times. Like, we can just be real, and he sticks his foot in his mouth, and they like to call him a clown or a goofball or this, that, and the other, and I've certainly done that too. I did think it was cool how at the very end he said, my name might be on the record, but Coach Bowden's the greatest. Like, I just, that humility is really cool. Dabo, didn't show a lot of humility when Tyler from Spartanburg called in. He's like, I'm the one that built this thing. And which I would have done the same thing. I would have certainly tooted my own horn in that situation too. And so I don't even blame him for that. But I thought it was cool in that moment. They asked him about it. And as a good Christian guy, like, I liked that he was very humble and said, like, no, I might have my name there. Coach Bowden's the greatest ever, and there's no debate about that. I thought that was really cool. Like, I'm obviously playing the moral victory card as much as I can here because we don't win any real victories in Tallahassee this year. But I thought that was neat, and I even all the Florida State fans that like to clown Dabo, I think they were like at that point, like, all right, we'll give you this one, Coach.
Yeah, we'll chill for this moment. That was a great moment, and the irony that he's playing Florida State in Florida State. Bobby Bowden is Bobby Bowden, and I know he's passed on, but that even though he's passed away, he is college football infamy. You talk about guys like him, you talk about guys like Tom Osborne, guys who won a lot. You think about Jimmy Johnson. I know he's a Cane, and he
Spurrier.
went on to the NFL.
All those legends.
Spurrier. These guys had a much more difficult road than what a lot of guys has today. I know you talk about NIL and transfer portal and managing, re-recruiting your players who were on your roster, but there was a lot of things that they had to deal with. There was a lot of administrations who were not as pro-football as they should have been. A lot of people, if you ever pay attention to the Danny Ford days, the reason Danny Ford was let go, there's all these reasons, but it all comes down to was, I'm pretty sure that the administration didn't like him anymore, and they were done with him. And then he was, from what I understand, cleared of all NCAA violations, but they were more than happy to get rid of him. That was a different time, and Coach Bowden made it through various times in college football and the changing landscape. So I'll have to agree with Coach Sweeney. He nailed it. Coach Sweeney won 2 national championships, but Bobby Bowden is on the Mount Rushmore of college football.
Yeah, Florida State fans, and I've actually talked with a lot of FSU coaches, non-football, about and asked them about Coach Bowden. Some that coached when he was there, some that are newer and started at FSU after. And they've all said, to some degree, right, some phrasing of this, like, I have my job today. Like, Florida State exists in the form that it does, like, has the athletic programs that it does because of Coach Bowden. Like, the beach volleyball coach has told me that, she's like, would we even have would I even have a program? The golf coaches, the women's basketball, would people even care to go to Florida State for these other sports if not for Coach Bowden? Like, would we even have that? Like, the track team won 3 national championships in a row when Coach Bowden was here. And several of those were 2-sport athletes that were on scholarship because of the dual scholarship. Like, you can give them the football and then they can play both sports. And the track coach is like, would I have the success I have? Had Bobby not recruited some of those players to run for me? And so, and I know Clemson won in 1980. Like, I understand, like, they won before, but I almost wonder how much success the league itself, right? I'm not trying to crap on the ACC. We do other videos for that. But how much the league itself can kind of attribute, like, Bowden's success and carrying this conference for so many years in the early 90s and 2000s can almost attribute his success to, like, would Dabo, this is maybe a stretch, but, like, would Dabo be the coach he is right now if Coach Bowden hadn't paved the way for the ACC to have the respect that it does? I mean, maybe. I mean, I'm not going to say he couldn't have. I mean, at the end of the day, you still got to recruit players. You still got to bring players in. But had Florida State not been the program that it is, would Dabo have gotten the chance to do what he's done? So I'm not saying that, Dabo should give all this credit to Bowden or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, if you look at it through that light, would any of these coaches be what they are right now? Would any of these programs be what they are without, him bringing it along? Again, I'm deep in the Kool-Aid on moral victories, but just something interesting to think about, because he really paved the way, not only for Florida State, but really this entire conference to get the respect that they kind of get now, whatever little bit of respect that is.
Yeah, I mean, he set the bar. He set the bar in the conference, and I mean, look at like Conference USA or one of these small, non-Power 4 conferences. They really struggle to have like a bar, a benchmark of someone who's went to the big game and won it, and then sustained dominance for so many years. I mean, good grief, I can remember Florida State's first conference loss. It was to Old Man Welsh and the Barber twins. How do I remember that? It's because it was a big deal. No. So I think guys like him, they're definitely pioneers, especially in the conference. They give you a mark to reach for, like this past Saturday. That was a big deal for not just Clemson, but the ACC as a whole, to have a current coach who was still winning at a decent rate. We're not as dominant as we were 4 or 5 years ago. Hopefully, please God, let us get back there. But I'll say this to Florida State fans: when you look at the Florida State logo, you see that infamous circle. Y'all see Florida State, and I can tell you as a Clemson fan and as someone who loves college football, I just see it. And some could take this and make it, what does he mean by that? But the symbolism, I see Bobby Bowden. Yeah, and that's what I see, because he was that dominant and he was unbelievable. So it was an honor for Coach Sweeney to do what he did this past week, and for us Clemson fans who are being civil, we realize it. We realize it. Coach Bowden was incredible, and we're just glad that we have a coach who is winning right now.
I've had some people tell me on this channel that it's too much Florida State stuff in the background, and I'm like, well, that ball there is well, I guess it's that side, is signed by Coach Bowden, and those shoes over there were worn in game by a former player. So I know they're FSU, but they're probably not coming down. Like, I don't know what to tell. If somebody wants to send me some Clemson autographed game worn shoes, I'll put them up there. But and if somebody, I don't know that ball will ever move from that spot. So, Brian, I appreciate you a ton. Where can people follow you? Where can they find more of your work?
Yeah, you can find me on YouTube at Clemson Football Live. Drop by, let me know that you saw me on this channel. I talk about, obviously, I've got all my Clemson garb around me, but I talk about other college football teams. I have you on the show. I have other podcasters and YouTubers from other teams come on the show, talk some trash, have some fun. We keep it civil, but we have some fun. And so drop by and let me know that you saw me. Yeah. Well,
I appreciate your time, man. Good luck the rest of the way. We weren't rooting for you on Saturday night, but we're probably hoping you can win in December. So,
well, I'll definitely be pulling for you. I'll definitely be pulling for you against Miami. So, thanks for having me on. It's always fun.
Thanks, buddy.